everybody, Damon D here, and this is the Desert Rock Roundup. In this video, I'm going to review the concert I just attended, which was Jane's Addiction at the Hollywood Palladium, the new EP from STÖNER, Boogie to Baja. And the other topic for today's show is going to be bands on tour that just decide, hey, we're not going to play any new stuff. We're just going to play the hits. And there's quite a few artists in that category. So on March 9th, I got the opportunity to go see Jane's Addiction at the Hollywood Palladium. So the lineup for this was Stephen Perkins on drums, Eric Avery on bass, Joshua Klinghoffer on guitar, the court jester, the king, the man, Mr. Lollapalooza himself, Perry Farrell on vocals. This was a really great show. They play every song you want to hear. They also played a new song that's coming up on a upcoming release. But they primarily stuck with, obviously, their most influential albums, Nothing Shocking, Ritual de lo Habitual. So as you can see from the set list here, all of the hits, everything you want to hear. So the band plays about an hour and 45 minutes, around 17 songs. And again, you're getting all the songs you want to hear. You don't come away from the show thinking, oh, why didn't they play this? Why didn't they play that? You know, they come out and do the encore and they play one new song, which is True Love. And then they end it with Stop. You know, these kind of almost anthem type songs. And when you pay money to go see a concert, what do you want to hear? You mostly want to hear the hits. So they definitely provided that. Now, from a guitar perspective, Dave Navarro's missing, but Josh Klinghoffer, who I believe played with the Red Hot Chili Peppers, he can do all the leads, blazing, shredding. And there wasn't one point in the show where you thought, yeah, he can't really fill Dave Navarro's shoes. Yes, he can. Did it really well. Really good. Amazing guitar playing. Bass was solid, of course. Eric Avery, original bass player, back in the band after, I think, 12 years. So that was kind of an added bonus. And he actually played acoustic guitar on Jane Says for the encore, which was interesting. I didn't really know he played guitar that much. And Stephen Perkins is a beast. The dude is a beast on the drums. Wow, I'm not a drummer, but this guy, like his kind of tribal, those kind of tribal beats I think that he's known for, really gives a different kind of edge, you know, to things. And there's actually a song where Klinghoffer, who normally plays guitar, is playing drums, Avery's playing a drum, and Stephen Perkins is playing a drum, and then Perry Farrell's singing, which was kind of a cool break between, you know, all the rock stuff. And then let's talk about Perry Farrell. Has he lost a little bit off the fastball, as they say in baseball? Maybe a little bit. So Perry Farrell was holding it down vocally. You know, he's known for this really effect-laden vocals, right? A lot of delay, reverb, you know, kind of water towery, cavernous, fills the room with the vocals. And I think it really fits the music well. You know, you kind of know what to expect. He's not going to blow you away with this 8-octave register, but serves the music well. You know, from a performance perspective, he's really engaged with the audience and just brings the whole thing together, kind of the orchestrator. So no complaints there either. If you're a Jane's Addiction fan, it's well worth the money. It's a good show. It's about right. You know, it's under 2 hours, so you're gonna get everything you want to hear for the most part. The performance is good. You know, the lighting's good. They have some interesting visuals. You know, they have the dancer. So I really enjoyed it, and I would advise you to go check them out if they come to your town. Moving on, now I'm going to talk about the new release from STÖNER, which is Brant Bjork and Nick Oliveri, who were founding members of stoner rock Godfathers Caius, called Boogie to Baja. So the lineup here is Brant Bjork on guitar and vocal, Nick Oliveri on bass and vocal, and then Ryan Goot on drums. So they open with the song, wait for it, STÖNER theme. It's kind of a fuzzed out stoner, low desert punk vibe, and Mario Lally of Fatso Jetson is actually playing on that track too. Desert Supergroup. And City Kids is another track here. This track is a Motorhead song. And what the band does here is they slow it down just a little bit. It's a little more pop sounding, if you will. Pop rock sounding than most of the tracks that they normally put out. But it's a good track. It's interesting. It's pretty cool. It sounds good. And then there's also the title track, which is a long jam, Boogie to Baja. This one goes on for about 10 minutes. So you're going to get guitar solos, you know, heavy beats, you know, lots of solid bass playing in there. So what you may want to do when you listen to this album is put it on, close your eyes, and maybe it takes you to the California desert. You're thinking of Joshua Tree, Palm Springs, the desert, Coachella, that vibe. Maybe it takes you there. Hopefully it does. So if you're not familiar with this band, the main style I would say is probably like a heavy fuzz rock, slow grooves, very rhythmic sounding, overdriven riffs, deep bass grooves. So hopefully if this is your jam, you think you might like it, take a listen. You might enjoy it. So in this section, let's talk about the bands that are going out on tour, playing shows, and they're only playing greatest hits. There's no more new music happening. Are you guys interested in that? Do you want to see it? Are you going to pay for it? And is that what you prefer? I saw Jane's Addiction recently, which I just talked about it earlier in this video, and they played all the hits. They played one new song, just one. So they kind of fit into that too. Is that purposeful? It seems like it. What I'm going to do now is just read a section of an interview that Sully Erna did from Godsmack about that same thing. Only playing the hits, no more new music. Why they're doing that? Interesting. Am I a huge Godsmack fan? Not necessarily. I don't really know their music that well, but I thought it was a really interesting quote that I found. So, quote, "So by the time we got to the end of it, we realized that this chapter's kind of closed, along with having 27 top 10 singles and 11 number one songs. And we're going to have obviously a few more singles on this record. We're going to be at 30 top 10 singles. We're there. We've arrived. And we've had to recognize it because it's our time for us now to do what's right for the fans and deliver the music that they have claimed to be our best songs over the years. They are the ones that choose the singles, really. We could suggest that we feel like this is the song, but they are the ones that made it successful. So therefore, they want to hear those songs every night. But there's not enough hours in the night to be able to play 30 songs. So when you go see your favorite band these days that have that kind of history, what do you want to see? Do you want to see a bunch of new stuff that you don't know yet? Or do you want to hear the hits that you've learned and loved and became the soundtrack to your lives? And so for those reasons, we felt like maybe this chapter is about to close on writing new music, and the next chapter is going to begin where we're going to start touring on the greatest hits show and delivering that kind of entertainment night after night. And there you have it. It's hard to argue with that. And as fans, when you pay $60, $80, $100, $150, $200 for a ticket, you probably want to hear the greatest hits. You might not want to hear that new song because you don't think it's going to be good. Although, from the artist's perspective, I could see how bands want to play new material. You want to keep things fresh. You don't want to play the same stuff you've played for 30 years over and over, night after night. So it's definitely a balance. But I just thought it was really interesting to hear that from, a mainstream artist saying, nah, we have 30 top 10 number one singles. We don't need to make new stuff anymore. All right, so that's it for the Desert Rock Roundup. This has been Damon D. One World, One Rock.